All right. Hello. Welcome everyone to now session 3 of Product University. So happy to have you on today. Great session in store, pretty in-depth session in store. So without further ado, let's get started. I know it's the morning for some, the night for others, but no matter what, you're here and that is so important to me. So let's get going. All right, so as I had mentioned at the end of last session, today's topic is, on the skin physiology and Riemann. So we will go through the various layers of the skin, what's going on beneath the skin, and then we'll go over some common skin concerns and how specific ingredients within Riemann products can address those concerns. So as many of you might be, oh my gosh, sensitive mouse today. As many of you might be are familiar with, there are three main layers to the skin. Your surfacemost layer is, of course, your epidermis. The middle is your dermis, and the bottom being your hypodermis. Your skin is so important. It is your body's largest organ. And beyond all these, technical functions in regards to aesthetics and skincare, it also helps to regulate your temperature, it protects against irritant penetration, and it even offers sensory perception. So we got to care for it on, the moisturization, hydration level, but we also got to appreciate it for all it does for us that we don't even recognize or directly influence with the products we're using. Now, going in depth on those three layers, they each have some degree of importance when we talk about skincare products. Of course, ultimately, we're going to be really focusing on the epidermis with your topical skincare. Your epidermis is really multiple different layers, as you can see here, of what are known as keratinocytes. Keratinocytes are just the fancy word for skin cells. Now, all these different layers have some degree of function and of importance, but for our conversation today, we really want to focus on the bottommost layer, which is the stratum basal, and the topmost being the stratum corneum. Now, your keratinocytes, your skin cells, have great role in skin cell function, barrier function, the structure of your skin as well. But you also have what's known as melanocytes. These are also a cell type, but these are specifically the cell type that create melanin or pigment, giving your skin the tone it has. So with the melanocytes, those are at the bottom, at the stratum basale. And so essentially they produce that melanin in little pockets of pigmentation and create your skin tone, but also may produce hyperpigmentation with dark spots, scarring, and the like. Now, in any skin cell cycle, we do start at the bottom at that stratum basale, and a new keratinocyte is born. And it is big and beautiful, has a nucleus, as you can see with these little purple circles. And as it goes through the skin cell cycle, essentially it begins to move its way upwards to the surface of the skin. As it moves up, it begins to flatten out. At one point, it loses its nucleus and eventually it sloughs off as dead skin. When a keratinocyte becomes dead skin and eventually is desquamated or sloughed off from the surface of the skin, at that point is actually known as a corneocyte. So corneocyte equals keratinocyte equals skin cell. Now, in the consideration of your corneocytes, that's really important in the topic of your skin barrier. Your stratum corneum, so the surface most layer of your skin itself has many different layers, but it displays what's known as a brick and mortar structure, and that is your skin barrier. So stratum corneum equals skin barrier. So your brick and mortar structure, meaning that essentially the bricks are those dead corneocytes, those dead skin cells that have no nucleus, they're ready to slough off, and they're tightly packed together with a surrounding lipid environment. And those lipids are your mortar. So that is going to be the lipids you utilize often in your skincare, but it can be ceramides, cholesterol, and free fatty acids as well, make up the natural mortar of your skin barrier. Now, it's crucial to have an intact skin barrier for this brick and mortar structure to be strong and impenetrable because it protects not only from outside irritants penetrating in, but it also protects from transepidermal water loss. This is just a fancy terminology from water from the lower layers of your skin evaporating out of your skin, thusly leaving that sensation of dryness. So when we look at the epidermis, of course, most of your products are going right on the stratum corneum and may always exist in the stratum cornea, That's perfectly fine. Oftentimes, you might have some dark spots that are quite superficial. They've traveled up alongside a bunch of different keratinocytes that were in their natural skin cell cycle. So it's already quite towards the surface. You can address the hyperpigmentation, but you can also address the importance and structure of your skin barrier by fortifying hydration, fortifying moisturization. All of that, you can also help with brightening the skin in its general tone. So having activity just in that stratum corneum is totally fine and is a majority of our cosmetic products. And in the consideration of cosmetic products versus drug products, any cosmetic is really meant to beautify the surface of the skin without altering structure or function. So more often than not, any claim of penetration actually can be considered a drug claim. And so that's why we never consider it actually with the radiantsome line. Although we have those liposomes that do enhance absorption, we cannot claim direct penetration as that is a drug claim. So just to kind of unrelated fact in our topic of the epidermis, but long story short, stratum corneum, skin barrier, super, super important, super targeted for your skincare products. But at the base of it, that's where your skin cells are actually made and where your pigment is made as well. When we travel then to that secondary layer, that's when we hit the dermis. Dermis is equally important in consideration of oftentimes aging concerns and general aesthetic concerns. It contains so many different important components, your blood vessels, your lymph vessels, hair follicles, and sweat glands. Or yeah, sweat glands. You also have collagen bundles, fibroblasts, nerves, sebaceous glands. So in our discussion on session 4, we'll actually go through the hair physiology and we'll see that the hair structure itself is actually considered to be part of the epidermis because as you can see here, the epidermis really tucks in and around that hair follicle, but the bulb itself is still directly located within the dermis. We also have those sweat glands and those sebum glands. So specifically with those sebaceous glands, that's what's producing the oil on your skin, but its ultimate purpose is to lubricate the hair shaft so that it can grow out of the skin without any issues, without any impaction. So sebaceous glands are producing that natural sebum for your skin, and of course they exist in the dermis. Now, all of this considered, what's really important is the things in between all of these macro structures, all the things we can see on this diagram. It's what's known as the extracellular matrix, what's within the dermis. Now, the extracellular matrix is a network of those macromolecules and minerals that provide the structural support to surrounding cells. So important for our topic and discussion today, the ECM is really our focus because that is where your collagen is located. The elastin, hyaluronic acid is produced here and also binds here, and the fibroblasts also exist here. And those fibroblasts are the cell types that produce collagen and elastin. Now, the extracellular matrix has a fine networking of these different proteins, the collagen and elastin, bound to the hyaluronic acid. But as we naturally age, we of course lose some of that collagen and elastin. And based on our external exposures and our diet, you may also break down collagen and elastin that were structurally needed for the skin. So as you can see, in the absence of those structural proteins, you begin to have sagging of that skin, and that creates the visible appearance of fine lines, of sagging, and wrinkles, that general loss of elasticity. So specifically within the dermis, because we have this extracellular matrix, when you have things that go to treat the dermis specifically, we're looking at not only micromolecules that can get into this area, but specifically things that are addressing the collagen and the elastin maintenance, the hyaluronic acid maintenance as well. And so specifically with even the hyaluronic acid, what's unique about that is though many topicals may only sit on the surface and the ingredients may exist within the surface, specific mechanisms within the skin can help distribute hydrating molecules such as hyaluronic acid to the areas that matter, be it within the epidermis at the top or the dermis as well. Last but not least, we of course have this hypodermis. This is your fatty layer of cells. It cushions your muscles, it supports your bones, supports your nerves, and it also is what is mainly regulating your body temperature. Nothing really is going on here in regards to your topical products. Nothing really should go on here because you have those blood vessels and those nerves. You don't want, excuse me, any product to go systemic, which essentially is when something absorbs into the bloodstream. So if something says, hey, it addresses cellulite, it's not actually getting to those lumps of fat within the skin. It's trying to perhaps improve the collagen or improve the hydration of the skin so it seems plumper and thusly cellulite seems less. So always make sure you're really understanding what something is marketing when it has anything to do with what is going on in the hypodermis. Now, that considered, these are the three established layers of the skin, but I like to think that there's a fourth layer to the skin, that of the microbiome, that extra layer. This sits at the surface on top of that stratum corneum, and it's a grouping of bacteria and viruses and fungi that naturally exist on our skin since birth. It's comprised of millions of different species, and it also helps us protect against invading pathogens while also directly communicating with our immune system. And it's fascinating how your microbiome can develop based again on your diet, even how you were born via naturally or C-section, although that is natural in and of itself, but even that can influence the bacterial naturally existing on your skin. You can also, of course, have those environmental exposures and what allows what to proliferate. So we want this microbiome. The same reason we have a gut microbiome, which we'll go over in, I believe, session 5 with the lightening products. These microbiome help us. These bacterium help us. And what's crucial about the understanding and establishment of the skin's microbiome is that it's really the skin itself is not an ideal area for bacteria growth. It's nutrient poor, it has an unfavorable pH for bacterial growth, but there are certain microsites on the body that serve as perfect population areas for the microbes. Oily skin sites are highly acidic and inhabited by bacteria that can consume lipids. Moist skin sites like the inner crook of your elbow, your armpits, also, of course, are great for bacteria to thrive. So, this is how ultimately you have the different influences of bacteria on the body. And also, in the understanding of your microbiome and what bacteria are present, you can also understand the pathogenesis of specific skin concerns. For example, studies have shown a direct correlation between atopic dermatitis, which is dry, itchy, inflamed skin, and a specific species known as S. aureus, where higher counts of S. aureus were directly correlated with atopic dermatitis or AD. Another example is with acne. Oftentimes in acne-prone individuals, we may see a proliferation of C. acnes because they thrive in oil-rich sites. So understanding that your microbiome's here, although it may be different in different parts of the body, can also be important in addressing some skin concerns. Now, lastly, before we move on to the various skin concerns and the ingredients that can address them, I also wanted to differentiate between your facial skin and the skin that's naturally on your body. Now, your body skin actually has more layers in that upper epidermis and that stratum corneum. Your face has roughly 4 to 8 individual layers just within the stratum corneum, remembering that there are more layers than that in the epidermis, but the body has roughly 11 to 17 layers. That's going to, of course, differentiate how long skin cell turnover takes place. For that top layer to turn over for the skin, or for, excuse me, for the facial skin, that's about a week. For the body skin, roughly 2 weeks. And that, of course, is going to influence how you do exfoliation, for example, or how you encourage brightness or hydration of your body skin versus the skin on your face. And that's also why your facial skin is thought to be more delicate than the skin on your body. Furthermore, your body skin does have larger oil glands and pores, and we've seen this also in oily individuals that might perhaps have, bodily acne or things that they might be prone to on their face can also appear in larger amounts on their body as well because we have these larger oil glands and pores as well. So, in that all considered, as I think I've said many times, let's transition now to those common skin issues. Now, there are so many skin issues. The nature of ourselves as a cosmeceutical or cosmetic grade brand is that we cannot directly claim to treat or remedy any dermatoses. So, acne is actually one that we cannot directly claim that we can treat. Dandruff is, a hair issue we cannot directly claim, but other things exist that we directly find more benefit in suggesting that someone either speak to a medical professional or practitioner or practice more general activities with their skincare. And what I mean by that is, for example, with acne, while we cannot directly claim that a Rimmon product treats acne, we can say that, hey, this product helps reduce the appearance of redness, reduces the appearance of inflammation, helps hydrate the skin, which all can be things that may help an acne-prone individual. So if you ever see me answer a question that way or explain something that way, I want to make sure that we're all super careful and responsible in our marketing of the products as well. But all of that aside, we are going to focus on things we can say today with common skin issues. And one of those being, and most importantly, what I often see in troubleshooting with individuals is a disrupted barrier. It's not functional, it's letting those irritants penetrate, water is evaporating, your skin feels dry and red, and it's generally uncomfortable. This can either be due to a lack of water within the cells or a lack of that lipid barrier, allowing for gaps in which irritants can penetrate. Associated with that, we have also dryness and dehydration. And I separated the two different concerns because dryness is really the perception of a lack of oil, while dehydration is, of course, lacking water. When we go to session 6, which is actually about the Radiance line versus the dermatology products, we'll go through the different skin types and identify that you might have dry skin or dehydrated skin. The issue is it's very difficult to tell which is which. They're going to appear the same. It might be duller, flaky, tight, or uncomfortable. But what's important then is to utilize products that address both, that have hydrating and moisturizing ingredients. Now, another grouping of common skin issues and concerns are those thoughts of fine lines and wrinkles, of sagging and loss of elasticity. Your skin may be lacking that collagen or elastin, or it might not be organized correctly within the skin, and it decreases that structural integrity or support of the skin, as we saw in the infographic of the extracellular matrix. Now, in addressing these skin concerns, you want to utilize things that maintain the hydration with the hyaluronic acid, but more other humectants, but also maintaining the the collection of collagen and elastin. And by doing so, you stop or remove processes that are breaking down that collagen and elastin. That really comes with antioxidant care, which we'll get into. And we're getting into it right now. So oxidation itself is really, really common, unfortunately, because not only can you have oxidized skin by UV rays and overexposure to those UV rays, but also pollution or environmental concerns in general. And what happens here is that you create what are known as free radicals or oxidative species in the skin. These naturally exist. Our bodies have ways to combat them, to neutralize them. But if we are overexposed to something, they might become abundant and thusly wreak havoc. For example, not only can these oxidative species create permanent redness, they can also create permanent dryness, they can increase hyperpigmentation, and notably for our conversation back on the collagen and elastin, is that they can actually permanently turn on what are known as matrix metalloproteinases or MMP1s. You might remember from last week, we talked about this with the giant Byung pool because it was able to turn off MMP1s. If these oxidative species are present within the skin in high abundance, they may be able to regulate the breakdown of collagen that you otherwise structurally needed. So stopping that and inherently helping maintain your collagen can be as simple as helping with antioxidant protection to the skin. So all of this considered amongst a variety of other common, not necessarily skin issues, but just common performances of skincare products in steps Rimmon. And as I established, I believe in week 1, session 1, we follow those basic tenets of K-Beauty to simplify the approach of our products. But beneath the surface are so many different fine-tuned key ingredients that do everything your skin can need so that you can step back and just know that your skin is being cared for. We have that cleansing to remove those surface impurities and to help prepare the skin for enhanced absorption of later topicals. The hydration, which reinforces so many different benefits to the skin, but directly helps maintain just cellular health overall, and protection to reduce that UV pollution, to reduce the creation of oxidative species, but also to protect your skin's innate barrier, that skin barrier itself. So let's get into the ingredients. And we start with the first topic of restoring the skin barrier, restoring hydration and moisturization in part as well. With restoring the skin barrier, we have things like our giant Byungpool 3 solution, which is not only the Byungpool extract, but the amino acids and the lipos, or excuse me, exosomes that are derived from the giant Byungpool. Fantastic for barrier strength, and as we saw last week, can directly increase the production of involucrin, which is a barrier binding protein for barrier function and integrity. We also have natural oils like jojoba or camellia seed, that's sunflower oil as well. All of these are going to help with that mortar art and really filling in those gaps within the skin barrier. Filerstin, which is in the serum of the Dermatology First package, is a microbiome-based approach to barrier strength, really ensuring that your skin's innate hydration and barrier integrity is reinforced. And squalane. Squalane is an industry standard. It mimics very similarly the lipid structure of those composed in our mortar, or our skin barrier rather. So squalane is perfect for your skin barrier and filling in those gaps. But on that same topic, we also have that dehydration and dryness reinforced by hydration and moisturization. Again, and you'll see commonly throughout this, our Byungpool leaf water can step in to save the day. Robust increase in skin hydration, and this is something seen not just with giant Byungpool, but with all types of Centella asiatica. It is a common benefit of Centella asiatica for that skin hydration. But we also have what are known as humectants. Humectants are hygroscopic structures that bind to and attract atmospheric water to the skin while also organizing it throughout the dermal layers. Key humectants include hyaluronic acid, actually, but we have hexanediol, propylene glycol, glycerin is fantastic as well. In the new toner, we also have the primal hyal hydra, which is a cationic third generation hyaluronic acid, which just differently interacts with both short-term and long-term hydration. We also have damask rose water that's in the calming balance gel. Hydration, sure, but you're also getting the vitamins and minerals from the damask rose for skin balance. We have collagen, which is probably one of the most notable hydrating ingredients or molecules. Oftentimes, if you have a collagen in a product, which we have our collagen 100 melting mask, we also, the dermatology cream directly has collagen. It doesn't absorb into your skin and become collagen. But collagen really binds well to hydration and to water, and it can bring it to the surface of the skin to maintain that hydration long term. In both the dermatology booster, the serum, and the cream, we also have NMN. That NMN, or nicotinamide mononucleotide, is a derivative of niacinamide and a precursor to NAD+. Specifically in studies with Procter& Gamble and the American Academy of Dermatology, they found that NMN has direct influence on increasing skin hydration. And last but not least, Ectoin. Ectoin is also in the new Radiance products. It's specifically in the new Essence, and it creates what's known as a hydrofilm on the surface of the skin. This locks in hydration not only for a protective stance, but also to maintain that water content long term in the skin. In turn, it also helps visually with the skin in hydration, reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and reducing the appearance of skin texture as well. All right. And so another skin concern, which actually wasn't directly identified in the past slides, but is actually directly correlated to the oxidation topic, is reducing hyperpigmentation and the general brightening of the skin as well. Now, Chairman On in his design of ICD focused on youthful radiance. How do we obtain that once again? So almost every Riman product, specifically the Riman topicals, have some degree of brightening or pigmentation reducing ingredient. So whatever line you choose, if that is a goal of yours, you should be satisfied with your products, or do not concern yourself that you're not using the wrong or the right products rather. To specify some of the specific ingredients performing within your products, we notably have the Vita complex included in all three Radiant Sum 100 products. This is comprised of vitamin C, vitamin B3, panthenol, and vitamin B5 as well. Antioxidant care there, but with panthenol, we're also getting some hydration as well. Niacinamide, industry standard, vitamin B3. It's in almost all of our products, the Derm First booster and serum, the cream, the multi-stick balm, the two-phase oil mist, and of course in these three products pictured here as well. Young Pool, hopefully is not a surprise to you. I think we talked about it last week. great results in hyperpigmentation reduction, also great results in free radical neutralization. So whether it's the oxidative species are present or they've already created damage, you got yourself covered with the giant Byung pool. And we have that in various forms. We have the Byung pool 3 solution, the extract or the lava Byung pool water. In the new Radiant Sun, we have the Byung pool colosome and the Centelac GT. The colosome specifically is giant Byung pool grown under blue LED conditions. That creates a different concentration of phytonutrients in the leaves that we then extract to create the colosome. And that actually means a different form of antioxidant care. For the Centelac GT, that's a marriage of the centella or giant Byung pool, lactobacillus ferment for your skin microbiome, and also our camellia flower for skin moisturization. And that has fantastic benefits in basically everything you could need for your skin in terms of reducing the appearance of aging. Continuing on, we have the sea berry water, which is rich in vitamin C and E themselves, antioxidants, and this is in both the two-phase oil mist and the multi-stick balm. We have ergothioneine and carnosine, potent antioxidants in our dermatology cream. Ergothioneine specifically is thought to be a more potent antioxidant than CoQ10. And not only does it protect your skin's endogenous antioxidants, what you're already producing to fight against those oxidative species, it provides additional protection on top of that. Specific to the moisture layer sunscreen, we have that glucosylrutin, which is a highly biocompatible antioxidant. In the Radiant Sun Essence, we have Chronoglow and we have Cybright in the Radiant Sun Cream. And again, in the moisture layer sunscreen, we have our Lucient Mela XD for skin brightness as well. And last but not least, we'll get to that topic of replenishing the ECM, of the addressing of the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, of sagging, loss of elasticity, really making sure that your collagen is maintained, your elastin is maintained, hyaluronic acid is present and bound to. We have ingredients like collagenere, which the two might seem like a misspelling, but it's actually meant to look like carbon dioxide because that is what it is based on and how it is functioning within the skin. But this has helped to maintain your skin's elasticity and is included in all three Radiant Sun products. We also have peptides, which I know are a hot topic today. Acetylhexapeptide 8 and palmitoyl pentapeptide 4 are in all three products of the dermatology line in varying concentrations. So the booster, the serum, and the cream. I've also mentioned we directly have collagen, which does not directly help with collagen becoming innate collagen in your skin, but helps with that moisturization, that hydration maintenance. NMN is robust in reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, another result found by Procter & Gamble and American Academy of Dermatology. The Lucent Mel XD mentioned previously for the moisture layer sunscreen, not only does it aid in brightness, but it too has performances in elasticity. The Chronoglow, again in the Radiant Sun Essence, is fantastic for, again, really everything. And that's why we designed the new Radiance line the way we did is we added so many ingredients with multifunctional benefits. And so Chronoglow, you can see everywhere for every skin aesthetic benefit you might be looking for. But Glyco and Natural is another Radiant Sun ingredient specific to the toner that has similar efficacies in multifunctionality, but specifically in not only reducing hyperpigmentation, so should have been on the slide previous, but reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. And last but certainly not least, excuse me, the Jeju Camellia Extensin, which is in the new Radiant Sun Cream. This is a low molecular weight glycoprotein that we have derived at our Alaska-based facilities from Jeju Camellia on Jeju Island, and that directly assists in elasticity. And my voice, I'm losing it just a little bit with all the different ingredients I just went through, and I know that was fast. So with the outline associated today, we outlined the different things and the different ingredients we've gone over, but this is not even an exhaustive list of all the fantastic ingredients. Each product has its own 3 or 4 key ingredients, or 5 or 6 in the case of the Radiant Sun products, all of them purposely included to address a variety of skin concerns. So everything is synergistic in your personal care routine. So in that, also, if that was too fast, which I feel like I went too fast, feel free to also ask for a recording of this session. Feel free to email the ritual@riman.com inbox for this recording. But I wanted to end our conversation here because in the comparison of all the different skin absorption mechanisms and ingredients, we also have these tools that we have directly employed in our products for the direct benefit and deposition of ingredients to our skin. And that is our liposomes and our exosomes. Now, as you can see here, the exosomes are depicted here. The liposomes are here. Both of them are microscopic. They have phospholipid bilayers, which directly mimic your skin cell structure. This phospholipid bilayer is created by phospholipids, which is cut off right here, but this is a phospholipid. It has a hydrophilic group, which is really a water-loving head, and hydrophobic group or hydrophobic tail or tails. There are two. This allows for an orientation in which those hydrophobic heads face outward into the water-based environment, and those hydrophobic tails face inwards against each other with a second layer of phospholipids, creating a water phase on the inside of both of these molecules, both the liposome and the exosomes as well. Now, liposomes and exosomes can both be synthesized or naturally existing, but for our specific purposes, the liposomes were synthesized by the microfluidizer processor, and they were run through multiple times to create those flexible liposomes. This allowed us to control what is in those liposomes. But with the exosomes, we derived these naturally from the giant Byungpo, so we are subject to nature's creation. We cannot influence what is contained within those exosomes. Furthermore, studies are still being performed on the understanding of exosomes, how they are interacting with the skin. Some are suggesting that they are quite surface active, while others are suggesting you might need microneedling or an invasive performance to actually get them into the skin. But they are still fantastic at protecting byungpo or plant components before it reaches your skin. So, for example, the exosome is going to bring all those giant byungpo proteins and amino acids and signaling molecules to your skin in a protected manner and deposit that onto the skin. Versus the liposomes, they're going to enhance the absorption of various ingredients to targeted areas within the skin. Now, in any category, the benefits of application of either of the liposomes or the exosomes is that not only do you get an enhanced formula stability, you get an enhanced physiological durability. And that's what I kind of just mentioned, protecting the giant Byung components and molecules before it reaches the skin. The liposomes protecting those ingredients we purposely selected to really enter the skin with positive benefit. Targeted efficacy is greatly seen with those flexible liposomes and an enhanced retention of active ingredients. As I've also identified here, there are millions, if not billions, of different particles in each product. So for the exosomes, there are 1.3 billion per bottle, the serum 450 million per bottle, and the cream 500 million per bottle. But that is per bottle. So when we look at the radiance line, we can look at billions per drop of a product, which of course there could be millions or hundreds of drops within a bottle. So the toner is 81 billion flexible liposomes or particles within a drop. The essence 100 billion particles per drop, and the cream 120 billion. So microscopic information, macroscopic impact on how your skin is influenced. And again, we will go over this actually probably in a similar detail, if not furthermore, in session 6 when we compare the radiantsum and dermatology lines. So don't need to memorize this today because we'll see it again. But because this was such a dense topic today, I wanted to give us a recap. So today we went over the 3 main layers of the skin, your surface most being the epidermis, the dermis in the center, and your hypodermis or fat layer. The upper layers of the epidermis have your stratum corneum or the skin barrier, which itself has a brick and mortar structure. This protects you from irritants penetrating and water evaporating. When we go down to the center, your dermis itself contains the ECM or the extracellular matrix. This is where you can find your collagen, the elastin, hyaluronic acid, and it is also what is influenced when you age, either naturally or based on your daily exposures. We've added an additional layer for our conversation today in the microbiome itself, existing on the top of your stratum corneum. It's composed of both resident and transient flora that maintain your skin's health and also help in that protection against irritant penetration. We also identified common skin issues, what we could directly say we can address as a cosmeceutical brand. So a disrupted barrier is one of the most common issues I've seen. It can happen for product misuse, inappropriate product for your perfect or your specific skin type, or even over cleansing can easily disrupt your barrier. But we also have dryness in which your skin is lacking oil, dehydration in which it's lacking water, fine lines, wrinkles, and sagging in which you don't have that collagen and elastin structural integrity, or you might simply have hydration loss, creating that lack of plumpness, which is a easy fix or an easy fix with specific products. But we also had that mention of the oxidative species, which directly creates hyperpigmentation and also can create all of these identified issues here. Riemann prioritizes those three basic tenets of K-beauty to really create profound formulations, simplified in their approach and appreciation, but so complex in what they do for your skin. We cleanse to remove impurities and prepare the skin for better absorption. We hydrate to restore cellular function and maintain that plump and healthy glow. And we protect to lock in all of those efforts and to reduce the risk of extrinsic factors like UV rays causing more damage to your skin. So without our various products, we had so many different ingredients we saw, like the giant pool, NMN, the vitamins and minerals and botanical extracts that come together in a sort of synergy to address a variety of these different concerns while maintaining overall comfort to your skin and the glow and radiance that you know and love with Riemann. And that is it. I know today was a bit of a lengthier session, so I hope you're still with me. But of course, Outline, as always, is here for you to scan. QR code for you to view. We're dropping the URL into the chat as well. So I'll pause just for a bit here so people can grab this information. All right. So as I kept alluding, I basically think I referred to every single session we're going to have for the rest of Product University. But next week, session 4, same topic in, or same organization rather, we're doing the hair physiology and Riemann. So we'll go over the hair follicle, the living part of your hair, the hair shaft, which is considered dead but is chemically alive, super crucial for your skincare, or excuse me, your hair care products. And then we'll of course go over the Deserticola products. And gentle reminder, again, session 7, excuse me, which is on May 13th, is going to be our Q&A session, if it will come up. Oh, there we go. Oh, so continue to send in your questions to ritual@riemann.com. Please do so by or before May 11th so I have any chance to ask HQ for help with specific questions that I really want to get good information for you on. So send in questions, title it PU or Product University question. And of course, if it's not related to Product University, you just have a question, always keep this email in mind. I am here to help you out. But that ends our topic today. Thank you all so much for joining me. Lots of key ingredients, lots of skin topics. And I don't think I've said this before, but you never need to know all this stuff. You're here with me today because I think you enjoy hearing it. But please do not pressure yourself to memorize and start talking about layers of the skin at your next K-pop up. But of course, I am here to help you if you wish to do so. But what's most important is you're taking the time to educate, to understand, and to transform your self-care. So without further ado, I will see you next week for session 4. See you later.